Well, welcome to the Triplefour podcast, episode 53. It's been a few weeks because the scheduling of this show is kind of becoming more difficult. So don't hassle me. The structure, the format, everything's kind of changing. It's up in the air, but I'm going to still keep trying to do shows. So there you go. Wanted to start off with a few plugs. First of all, the most important one, Darkness on the Edge of Town, is streaming. It is still streaming. It's on Amazon Prime now in the US and the UK. It's also on YouTube. It's on the same channel that this video podcast is on. If you're listening to the audio stream of this, check out Triplefour on YouTube to watch Darkness on the Edge of Town, amongst lots of other good stuff. Also of note, the Triplefour store, the merchandise outlet for Triplefour Industries, Studios, whatever. Triplefour Films, Triplefour Worldwide.
Yeah.
Is now open. It's on Teespring. Teespring is going to be fulfilling all of that. It's all made to order and lots of customizable stuff there. Like you can get anything, all kinds of colors, sizes, formats, premium versions of the t-shirts, everything. There's so much stuff on there. Posters, the stickers turned out really nice. I'm going to be putting in pictures of those things in the video edition of this. So check that out. It's all also priced to be affordable because this isn't a profit. This is a non-for-profit. This is a legally non-for-profit podcast / entity. So everything's priced for affordability. Just wanted to make it accessible and easy for people like myself who don't have a lot of expendable income. So just thinking about you fans out there. And lastly, on my end, the new N. Ron Hubbard album, Zillions of Fighters, is out September 18th. Should be a few days after this podcast goes up. Just check it out. Concept album. Listen to it. It's good stuff. Also, speaking of music, today's guest is one of the titans of... You're not Papa. It's like speaker view. You're going to have to speak.
Okay. Okay, I got you.
One of the titans of just the music industry at the moment. It's 6'6" SkeletonKey is with us today.
Yep. I'm on most of the songs.
You're on most of your own songs?
Just songs.
Oh, on most of the songs in existence.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
He has a new album, Reflections of Avoidance. That's super good. Really, how are you labeling your stuff? Chiptune?
That's like a chiptune kind of release, just pure chiptune. I got some other chiptune hybrid kind of stuff coming in. Rare hybrids coming in.
Hybrid Theory.
Yeah, like classic album.
Hybrid Theory chiptune cover album.
Hybrid Theory chiptune series. So it's going to be a series of albums that are actually inspired by Hybrid Theory in the chiptune genre. It'll be exciting.
I'm going to look up Numb chiptune remix on YouTube, and if it exists, it's going in the podcast now.
Wait. The remix or the cover? That's a big
cover.
Because if you're going to do a remix, it's going to be like an EDM anthem with a few chiptune elements on it.
Well, what's more likely to exist?
Both, probably.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
All right. Then the cover. I want to hear the chiptune cover, the MIDI version of Numb.
You're just going to pull up the MIDI notes to Numb and pull it up in Ableton. Choose a chiptune pad.
Oh yeah, you're right. I should just make it. I should just look up the MIDI. Okay.
Triplefour, let's talk about it. Okay, Triplefour podcast.
Yeah, he said this dude makes a meatwad fucking thing for no reason. Then he says Jim Norris.
Bob Dylan, I find personally obnoxious. The Beatles destroyed culture. I must have smoked weed in my Tesla the other day.
Like,
That's
in my
not even a
garage.
big fuck. That's true.
Things are crazy right now. You don't know shit, do you?
We really didn't.
You can't always get what you want, but you'll find sometimes that if you try,
You just might get it.
oh, you'll get it.
Today's theme song, Linkin Park's Numb chiptune cover. And we're back. That was lovely.
Yep.
So what's the drive behind the SkeletonKey music at this point? What does Reflections of Avoidance mean? What does that phrase mean?
I guess it's just like kind of self-reflecting. Here, 1 second.
That's kind of chiptune.
Yeah, it's my next song.
You should sample that alarm.
Here, I need to take my headphones off.
This keeps happening. This happened in the last episode.
Say it again.
I said you should sample that alarm.
Yeah, I want to actually sample Animal Crossing.
Okay.
Because in Animal Crossing, you can like create your own song for the island, and it just basically plays a Casio version of that, basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like you can set your island's theme to like Linkin Park's Numb if you wanted to.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, for sure.
That or OMC's How Bizarre.
Or Get Down with Sickness by Disturbed.
These are just classic songs.
Oh, there's a kid. So I started school last week. There was a kid when we were doing indoor recess once. They were on their computers, and like most of the kids like listen to either pop or like trap. Basically, those are like the two options.
Yeah.
But I found a kid like actually just watching Disturbed videos, which is like kind of funny. And I told him to stop.
I told him to stop.
I just told him to stop.
Yeah, I should point out that you work at a elementary school, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So that, like, you just said I started school as if you were going to elementary school.
I enrolled in elementary school.
Yeah. I'm doing a Billy Madison. So did you really? Did that really happen? You just told them to stop listening to Disturbed?
Well, I have to like tell the kids to stop like listening to music if it's like through YouTube, because they're not really supposed to use YouTube sometimes.
Huh.
And I didn't know if he was like going to pull up a video where like they're like cutting each other open in a Disturbed video or whatever. Like I've not seen a Disturbed video. I listened to Disturbed when I was in middle school, and it was rad, but I never like watched the videos.
Could you have told him like, hey, you need to stop listening to, hey, if you're going to listen to what's it called? Invincible or Indestructible. If you're going to listen to Indestructible, you better do it on Apple Music and not YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think this is an episode of Second for Songs. This is the music segment. Second for Songs. Second for Songs. We're gonna talk about some albums. Second for Songs. Second for Songs. So
I was like, I thought you were just gonna start singing it.
The Second for Songs. See, that's a cover. That's a Black Flag cover with of Rise Above.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So, first of all, we never got to the bottom of Reflections of Avoidance. So, is there anything else you wanted to say about it, or am I just prying it?
Oh, sorry. I don't remember what I left off on. But it's basically like trying to avoid self-reflecting, I guess, is kind of the main concept of it. So, like, trying to just avoid like looking within yourself because you're scared of answers, I guess, to some degree. was like kind of the thought process behind like that title.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you always have such elaborate titles.
Yeah.
So I'm always trying to figure out where
they're very
coming from.
verbose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Verbose core.
Verbose core.
Yeah. That's pretty, I like that.
Yeah.
You're kind of like my resource for music, esoteric music, I feel like, because I feel like whenever there's something kind of weird or out there, I could ask you about it and you would know. Like the other day when you mentioned Slater.
Oh yeah.
Or if somebody
that was actually Jacob bringing it up.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah.
But like if somebody was like, "Do you know anybody who likes 100 gecs?" I'd be like, "This guy."
Yeah. It's just me.
Yeah.
Waving over here.
This guy likes it. I also know you're a big fan of like extreme metal.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like my original image of you. Like when I first like encountered you in the wild was you wearing your battle jacket and stuff.
Also, I think like I had mostly metal shirts or something like that on the trip when we like were first like hanging out or whatever.
Oh, in Europe.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like I've been trying to get into more extreme metal stuff lately. I don't know why. Like I feel like metal comes in phases for me, and I'm taking it a lot more seriously now, I think. So what are your go-to like genres or bands, or like what do you want from metal? Like what are you interested in with that stuff?
So at this point, I think like sludge and like doom is kind of where I like to go if I'm just going straight for metal or whatever.
Yeah.
Just I like having just the really heavy, like really gritty, just kind of layered guitar sound or whatever. I've kind of noticed that. I also do like going into hardcore a lot, and then like I just kind of like the structure of black metal or whatever. Just having just it being as fast as possible and like as gross as possible a lot of the time. I just kind of like that mentality. But like usually sludge and doom is what I go for. So
who are like the I see you have the Sleep poster in the background of your shot. So that's one. Yeah. But what are the other like sludgy doomy bands that you like?
The Body, Neurosis, like the Sleep like side projects like High on Fire and Ohm, those kind of things basically.
I didn't know I haven't really listened to High on Fire. I've heard of them, but I didn't know they're Sleep related. Yeah.
So when Sleep originally ended, like before they got back together or whatever, like Matt Pike, who is the guitarist, like broke off, did High on Fire, and then the other two did Ohm, which is like, do you know what Ohm is at all?
No, but the name immediately suggests like droney, doomy metal.
Yeah, it is. It can be very similar to Sleep, but in other instances, there's tons of like Eastern and Middle Eastern and like even religious kind of music influences coming in. That's really interesting.
See, I've not been able to get into the more eclectic things like Atheist. Kind of weird.
I need to check them out, honestly.
Or like on the last episode, to the contrary, I pointed out how I really liked Mayhem's later career stuff because it got so weird.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But well, for the most part, I think the big appeal for me is that I can listen to metal when I work out, because I think that's something I struggled with in the past, was like putting this stuff on when I'm doing like menial chores or like mundane walking around. It's kind of harder to listen to such extreme fast stuff. But when I'm working out, it's like I can put on anything.
Yeah.
But
just for classical music, ambient music.
Well, like, I mean, anything in the metal genre.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess like the weirder stuff. Like I probably couldn't put on the technical proggy kind of stuff, but
Or even like Sun might be weird.
Sun O.
Yeah.
You see, like the drone stuff, I've not really like got into as much.
Okay.
But yeah, mostly it's been like Death, the original Death, Entombed, Obituary.
I think I've seen Obituary live.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm actually thinking of a different band. Never mind. I was thinking of I think it's Enslaved is who I was thinking of.
Yeah, I listened to one of their records and I was confused. I didn't really know what it was. It was called Frost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know about this.
Have you listened? Is that is like a 90s album, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So when I saw them live, as long as I'm not confusing them with somebody else, when I saw them live, they had 180'd their sound. Like they're a shoegaze band now, basically.
Oh yeah.
Which is really weird, like with clean vocals.
I feel like a lot of metal bands change over time. Like Obituary and Entombed both started to go in a more doomy direction, like over their careers, I think.
Okay.
And or like Dark Throne, they definitely started doing more accessible
Cross punk.
Yeah. Regular sort of heavy metal stuff more recently. I bet it's because they just get tired of the confines of like the genres that they start in.
Yeah, which isn't a bad thing, honestly.
Yeah, no, you like to see people evolve.
Yeah. And also I'd rather see like somebody like them who can make like a heavy metal song sound really gross doing it than like a really old washed up like super studio produced
Aerosmith.
Yeah, Aerosmith like heavy metal song.
Yeah. Well, what have you been listening to in general lately?
So I've been listening to a lot of glitchcore.
Okay.
Do you know what that is?
Well, I know what glitch sounds like.
Okay.
So is it incorporate hardcore punk
No,
elements?
not really. It's kind of in the realm of hyperpop-ish kind of stuff, but it's much more like on the trap side, I guess. So it sounds a lot more like Blade. Like you can tell like it's super inspired like Blade, Drain Gang, Sad Boys, that kind of stuff. But it's like a little more glitched out. Like there's definitely more like of a cutesy vibe, I guess, like even more so with this. And to some degree, like sometimes it's like glitching out the vocals, that kind of stuff too. Or just like doing crazy chops, that kind of stuff.
Well, what is hyperpop? Is that like 100 gex?
Well, hyperpop, I'd say, is just like a super broad umbrella term for like, it can include stuff from like PC music like A.G. Cook, Charlie XCX, but it can also like kind of go to like do you know anti-pop kind of stuff? When I say that, do you know what I'm talking about?
Is that not a label?
No. Well, it might be.
Sounds like a label.
Yeah. I like anti-pop is like more what Joji was, I guess.
Oh.
Like just thinking of that. Not even necessarily Joji, but like just yeah. I
guess
like it's not like an actually defined thing or whatever. When I talk about hyperpop though, I'm usually talking about like PC music, 100 gex, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And even like to some degree glitchcore.
I guess the thing is like, do the artists themselves identify as these things? That's usually like an interesting dividing line.
Not really. Like there's tons and tons of debate on it. Like to the point where there's not an actual like genre name.
Yeah, well, it's also niche and like I said, esoteric. So it's like hard to pick out who's who. So who are some of
And
the
super broad.
who are some of the glitchcore artists?
Dollywood. So like there's kind of a clique or whatever that's kind of like it seems to me like the biggest in the underground or the biggest in glitchcore or whatever, and that's Nova Gang. And that has like
Nova Gang?
Yeah, Nova Gang.
So they like
They're
rap
really
about
young.
science.
Yeah, that's all they're rapping about. No, it varies quite a bit, honestly. Like, David Shoddy is like a big person. Dollywood. I think Alice Gas would go under this. It's also like not trap too.
Alice Glass?
Alice Gas.
There's somebody named Alice Gas?
Yeah.
This is what I want to do next. I want to do like take people who already exist, slightly change their name. Like I want to be like Bob Dylar.
Oh man. Last night I found out my brother took golfing lessons once, and his instructor was like, what was it? It was like Alan Pickle, I think. And I thought about the names that you give people. Like when I heard that, I was like, this is a Dan Stewart character.
Alan Pickle, of course.
Alan Pickle, the golf instructor.
Regular first name and then an item or a concept for a last name. I was on a Zoom call last night with a student group here at school, and this guy was talking about his idea for a screenplay about the guy who discovered the North Pole. Huh. And then there was some people who were like, what was his name? Was it like Dave Monroe, or like some normal name? And and she was like, I don't know. I think it was like Lance Bass. Wait, no, not Lance Bass. No. And I was like, yeah, definitely not Lance Bass. And then she kept stumbling over it, trying to figure it out, like sound it out. It was like Lance, and she's like, Bass Lance. And I was like, what the fuck? And that's what she settled on. She's like, Bass Lance discovered the North Pole.
Bass Lance. It's just like that meme with Drake where he's like Lance Bass and he's like this.
Yeah.
And then Bass Lance.
Oh yeah, I like that one. I like that. Shout out Bass Lance for discovering the North Pole.
Shout out. Is she like actually trying to do like a biopic with that, or is it more of a fictional kind of thing?
Well, she just brought it up as an idea that she had. She said that the guy who discovered the North Pole was actually black, and that people don't tend to acknowledge him.
Okay.
That it's like a story of like this guy was the OG North Polar, and people took credit for it. Something like that. Something to that effect.
Yeah.
Said that she wanted to write it.
Okay.
She's white, and her question was mostly about like, is it okay if I write this? Like, is this my story to tell? There's been a lot of talk about that. Like we had a school-wide seminar about diversity and writing outside of your
or
writing
like your situation, I guess.
Yeah, writing outside of your I don't know,
your own perspective.
Yeah. So, and I don't really know how to like even process that really, because it's like I think I'm just gonna like I come to stories because of like jokes. Yeah. Or moments, like funny moments. So like I never like write with like this character is black, and this character like I would rather just write a story that says like John goes to the store and he does this thing,
and then getting whoever to play those people.
Yeah, and then when you cast it, it's like it could be whoever. It's just John. He's going to the store. It's gonna be hilarious.
Have you seen The Death of Stalin, or I'll have to look up the other title. Have you seen The Death of Stalin, though?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So that's like kind of similar to what we're talking to. It's more like this director's most recent movie, but in that movie, nobody is using like a Russian accent or whatever. Like they're all using their normal voices. So like Steve Buscemi is in it, and he's talking like Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
So he's just picking actors that he feels like will play the role the best, I guess. But this most recent movie, like, it was a David Copperfield like kind of interpretation kind of thing. But he would just like kind of like the main character was Indian, and there were characters that were like black, but they weren't like referring to it in any kind of way. It was just like, it just seemed like they were just picking whoever they thought was the best actor for that role, which was really interesting. Yeah, just kind of like breaking that barrier, that kind of fourth wall, I guess.
Yeah, there's like two levels of responsibility of some kind, where it's like you have a responsibility to be inclusive and allow the opportunities for people to work literally, and then also you have to process like what image does the piece or the art or the film present of the people who are in the like those characters and the people in the roles.
Right.
It is strange for me because, like I said, I just kind of write with a guy does this thing, and maybe that's a problem. Maybe I should try and write more interesting characters and drama stuff. Yeah. But for the moment, I'm mostly just driven by like moments and things. Yeah. I've had the first week of grad school classes, which this hasn't been announced on the podcast, but I did move to Chicago to go to grad school in film. So there it is. Now it's on the table. Yay. I had the first week of classes, and it's funny because I'm so much more excited about film school now, and I feel more comfortable in the process. Mm-hmm. Whereas when we were at undergrad, and it was so much like theory based, and
I don't know what I want to do yet.
Yeah, I don't know what I want to
know anything yet.
Yeah, I don't know what I want to do, and I don't know how to do it. Yeah. And yet they did, like, the classes weren't conducive to helping you find those things, I think.
Yeah. And also, like, some people were going in at such a higher level, like, production-wise than you, too. Yeah. That kind of thing is going on.
Well, some people are, like, movers and shakers. Yeah. You know? Like, some people, like Sav Rogers, who one day I'm sure we're going to be hearing about, winning awards and stuff. Yeah. Just a mover and a shaker, always networking, always getting people's phone numbers and stuff. And like, so now
my brain cannot operate that way.
I can't either. Like, it's just like, I want to guy going to the store film. Yeah. Hey, Rhett, are you free on Friday? We can shoot guy going to the store. Like that's my approach. And I think it's valid. Like, I think it's valid if the product is good, but nobody else thinks that way. So it's kind of hard. And that's what I've encountered already. Like, they've given me a textbook for I have a class that's visual design. Mm-hmm. And they gave me this textbook, The Visual Story. And it is awful. Like, it is so bad. Like, it's saying all these things that are objective. It reminds me of in Dead Poets Society, when he's like, the first chapter of your poetry book that says poetry's like this, rip it out. Yeah. I'm like, this is like the poetry book from Dead Poets Society. Oh, yeah. Because it's like saying, like, notice how it's mostly about composition and visuals. And it's like, these are the 6 components of visuals: line, shape, space, this and that. And I'm not going to pass my test, clearly. But it's like space. The more
the space. Sorry.
The space. If the first chapter was the space, the movie is great, then I'd be like, yes, of course, this is objective fact.
You're just like, wait, what?
Yeah, they wrote about me. They wrote about me. It's like, visual progression and stuff. It's got a lot of diagrams and things, like how like the frame is divided up or whatever. And it's like
how it shows movement, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, just composition stuff. And it's all like just describing things that I think we all understand psychologically.
Yeah.
So I understand that appeal, but there's like parts of it where it'll be like, notice how in this composition there are no lines, and notice how in this one there's a lot of lines.
Mhm.
Which image is more intense? And I'm like, that's subjective.
Yeah.
Like the one with less lines could be, perceived as more pure. Like it could be, like Rothko, I think can be very aggressive, but Pollock can be more meditative. It's just like subjective. And they occasionally acknowledge that in the introduction and stuff. It's just like, I don't want to be told what is and is not intense. I will decide. And it just, I don't know. There's something fucked up about trying to teach art that way. And so I'm not looking forward to if anything else in the future is like that.
It's going to make more movies about college students.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, you're like, I also resent like, Tarantino's famous quote, I didn't go to film school, I went to films or whatever. And then PTA also talked about how he went to, I think it was NYU, and he said he sat through like 2 classes, and in the second one they were like, look, we don't make movies like Terminator 2 here.
Yeah.
And then he said, I'm quitting. I love Terminator 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, I think it's kind of dumb. There are lots of things you can learn in school about art, but with the room for subjectivity.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a tough gray area.
Yeah. It feels like in film school, they'll like discourage either making really weird movies or making really like blockbuster friendly kind of movies or whatever, or using like a blockbuster friendly kind of idea, if that makes sense. Like they usually want you to gravitate more towards like art film or whatever. Does that make sense?
I can't like really tell.
A certain subset of art film.
I felt like at Kansas at undergrad, there wasn't a lot of direction at all. But then, if I had to pick something, I would say most people wanted to make like, I guess, interpersonal drama. Yeah. I think that's a big driving thing for a lot of people, which it's not for me. And also, this is another thing is when we were talking about in screenwriting, there was a lot of emphasis on good scripts have this sort of drama. This like all scripts are about the same thing. Like somebody wants something and they're trying to get it, like rules like that. And then I'm thinking like, I don't know. I like Jim Jarmusch. He makes movies about literally nothing. Yeah. So is that, and there's all this, knowing the rules before you break them thing. Yeah. I'm just so impatient. I just want to break rules.
Yeah, same. Or like notice that there is a rule and just break it anyway.
Yeah, notice it.
Yeah, notice it, not learn it. Go ahead and break it.
Note the craft before you craft. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm excited. It does really suck that it's COVID because there's not a lot you can't meet people, which is essential to making art, and there's not a lot of places to go. Yeah. So
like you have to do stuff online, and that like definitely limits film kind of stuff.
Yeah. I think for like screenplay and for visual design and these classes that I'm taking right now, they are fine online. Yeah. Although also I like a lot of people since COVID started have been doing Zoom stuff all the time. And I have not. Like I'm not used to it. Especially not good.
I was just going to say this is like maybe my first Zoom call.
Well, like we've done the Discord and I've done the podcast, but those are with friends who I'm comfortable with already. Right. But I'm new to the large groups of people in a Zoom. Yeah. With a goal in mind. These classes, I hope all these people look up my YouTube and then watch the podcast at this point. And they're like, is he about to fucking talk about me? Because yes. There are like, the professor will be the screenwriting class was like 40 people in a Zoom call because it was 2 classes that were combined because one of the professors was sick. And so it's 40 fucking people in a Zoom call. And he's trying to remember the names of movies and stuff. He's like,
Mhm.
it's just like that one with the guy, and he was trying to, he was in a hole and his arm was broken. And then somebody will like chime in and be like, it was 127 hours. And I'm just like, just don't do that. Stop.
Also, there has to be like some kind of delay, and there's going to be like two people saying it like slightly off.
Yeah. Yes. Or he'll have moved on. Like he's not trying to remember it anymore. He's like, but anyway, and then all of a sudden 127 hours. And it's just like, I get it, dude.
Yeah.
Or like, and then there's like jokesters. There are Zoom jokesters, like people who are like going to chime in with a bit.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, just let me sit and watch and listen.
Yeah. So are you doing lectures through that, or is it always like more of a discussion based thing when you do Zoom calls?
They are lectures, but they're so open. I would prefer them to be more just lecture, like teach the material and I'll listen.
Yeah.
And then like maybe we can have a group talk at the end or something. But like these people, and they ask a lot of questions and slow class down a lot, and that I hate.
Yeah.
I get that some people like want clarification and stuff, and some people are super go-getter about that. Like, I will raise my hand and ask a question at every possible thing that I need answered, and I just don't think it works.
Just because like some people, like I feel like they have to operate that way.
Yeah.
Like to some degree. Like maybe they don't have to go so hardcore, but I feel like it's super strange that they don't like mute people when they're doing the lecture or whatever.
The expectation is that everybody's muted.
Okay.
Like except for the speaker, and then you unmute, and then you come in and you say, it's just like 127 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
Or, hey, can you explain the part about how images are more intense? The visual design class is actually asynchronous, so it's not even like Zoom calls. It's just he records a lecture and then you read and whatever.
Yeah.
That is not as appealing because it feels like I have to like schedule it on my own time. That's kind of weird. Yeah.
I don't think I'd like rescheduling that or whatever, but I do kind of like just doing things somewhat on your own or whatever, somewhat independently.
Yeah.
So that would like kind of be something I wouldn't mind too much.
Well, this is a good segue to a classic segment on this show. It's called Time for Films.
Parasite, Midsommar, Jean-Luc Godard, Robert Eggers sucks. This is the Time for Films theme song. It's over.
Have you watched anything lately?
I actually went to a movie theater.
Oh boy!
A couple weeks ago
to see Tenet.
No, I haven't seen that yet.
I think we should all start calling it Tenet.
Yeah, Tenet.
Yeah,
my favorite movie of the year. No, my dad, like, so AMC opened up around here like a few weeks ago. So the first week I was just like, yeah, I'm not going. And then the second week I was like, okay, I'll see how this is going, see if like it's selling out, that kind of stuff. And I found out like there are a ton of movies that just have like nobody going to them. So you can just find a movie that no one's going to if you want to go out and see a movie. And it's virtually like almost no risk, I guess. Or not that much of a risk, I should say.
Like in the middle of the day?
Yeah, like in the middle of the day. So it was like just me and my dad. And like I was not, like the closest I was to anybody was like 20 feet or something like that. Like outside of the theater. And nobody else was in the theater itself.
They've been showing like classic movies. They've been showing like Star Wars and I don't know, Titanic and stuff.
Yeah, they did some of that. There was like some new movie. I can't remember what it was, but they did have like a new movie that they're throwing out. I think it might have been New Mutants or something like that. Yeah. And then like the week after that was Tenet. So I guess they are like slowly starting to do the new kind of stuff.
Well, there was also one with like Russell Crowe or some or
Robin Hood.
No, it was either Russell Crowe or Gerard Butler, one of those type dudes. It was some kind of action movie. And then New Mutants, Tenet, and Bill and Ted have been the movies that are out. What did you see?
So I don't know if it was like new or not. Like it was from 2019. Okay. It was actually the David Copperfield movie I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
For a minute, yeah. And then like I thought it was brand new and it was like an indie kind of release kind of thing. And then I found out it was from last year. So I don't know if it was like it just got released or what was going on there.
I do really want to see Tenet, but I just don't. I was talking to Maddie Tubbs texting with her the other day, and she said that she asked me if I saw it, and then said that it was bad, and I was like, this makes me want to see it more. I want to witness it being bad. If it's going to be bad, then I need to know.
Yeah. Are you a Nolan head?
Whatever he makes is worth watching. Yeah. Like, I think that's factual, like I do think there are like some problems with some of this stuff, but for the most part, I like his movies. Like I'm not out here like, Memento's the greatest shit of all time. Yeah. But, I even like Dark Knight Rises. So yeah, whatever.
I remember enjoying watching that in the theater. I don't remember the movie that well though. Like I just remember a few shots. I think Nolan's definitely like a director to check out, but he just doesn't move me that much usually.
Well, I loved Interstellar. And
I don't even know if I finished Interstellar.
Like because you didn't like it or just because it was so long and
like kind of just it was long and it wasn't like my favorite thing to watch. So I just kind of walked away.
Not my favorite thing to watch.
Well, it was just like not really pulling me in. It's not like I disliked it. It was just not pulling me in, I guess.
Yeah. That's like everything for me right now. I can't watch anything. Like I got a few things to talk about that I did like, but
I've been rewatching a lot.
I thought Dunkirk was just kind of okay. Like I thought technically very good, but just okay. I really liked Interstellar. Batman movies are good. Prestige is really good. So
honestly, I think Following is my favorite from him.
It's the only one I haven't seen.
Yeah, it's like an hour long. It's pretty short. But I just kind of like the voyeurism kind of angle to it. I typically like things with voyeurism.
That's like his first film, right?
I think so. Yeah. Or one of them.
It'd be worth checking out just to see his auteur roots.
Yeah, for sure. I think it was like in black and white or something like that too.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
I kind of grouped that together with Pi, Darren Aronofsky's first movie, because they're both like black and white thrillers.
Yeah. Like super low budget. Yeah.
And Aronofsky's kind of like in the same cloud of like highly respected, but also some people really hate him kind of area.
I think I like Aronofsky a little more. Although they're not like the same kind of director.
Yeah, they're not the same kind of director, but they both make heady, big movies.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Requiem for a Dream was like a big deal when I first saw it. When I saw it in high school. Yeah. And it was a big deal at the time.
Yeah, for sure.
So I guess that's important.
Yeah. I saw that like later on. I think I saw that when I was in film school, honestly.
I watched I'm Thinking of Ending Things, the new Charlie Kaufman movie.
Oh, I need to see that. I keep forgetting it came out.
That one is another one that's like people are freaking out about it. They're like, this is so fucking good. Yeah. And I thought the opposite. I thought it was like I'm glad that I watched it. It is really well directed. Yeah. But it is just like every page from Criterion Auteur handbook. It's like it's very Bergman. Like there's a lot of Bergman kind of allusions. There's literal allusions. Like it's like a super indebted to films.
Is it similar to his other movies? And have you seen Kaufman's other movies?
I've seen. I just Anomalisa is the only one I haven't seen. So so SkeletonKey and Adaptation and Being John Malkovich. It is meta, like those movies are. It is like postmodern and self-aware and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it is very deeply, gravely miserable.
Okay, that sounds like my kind of thing.
Yeah. But it goes into all these like, you know, theatrical, like weird art house directions. So many different directions to the point where I'm just like, okay, now you're just doing stuff.
Yeah.
You're just like
more so than he's done before.
I feel like it made sense in the other ones.
Okay. Which I think the other ones are only SkeletonKey and Anomalisa for like what he's directed.
Yeah, for directing, yeah. I guess I can't speak on Anomalisa though, so.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's worth watching. I was a little disappointed because so many people were like, "This is the fucking greatest." I cried.
Yeah. I came.
Yeah.
I cried. Had a good laugh. How does it go?
The podcast motto.
The slogan, yeah.
Yeah. Good bits, good vibes. I cried.
Yeah.
Good all around. No, it's actually Maddie who that is her phrase, her phraseology, actually did really like it and did have a bunch of good things to say about it. So so I guess it is apt for her at least.
Yeah.
I also watched a bunch of documentaries. I don't know why, but I've just been super into documentaries. Maybe it's because I've been so disappointed in regular narrative films lately.
Yeah.
My favorite one that I've seen lately is called The Amazing Jonathan documentary.
Oh, the comedian? Like the magician comedian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with this?
Yeah, well, I know the comedian.
Oh, okay. Well,
I didn't know there's a movie.
Well, I didn't know him, and so maybe it would be very different for you. There's actually 2 movies, and it's a part of the plot of the movie that I watched that there are 2 movies. I kind of want you to. I don't want to say anything about it because it is so fucking wild, and you kind of ruin a lot of it if you talk too much about it. But just Amazing Jonathan documentary. It's on Hulu. It is super bizarre. It's one of those documentaries where it just keeps going and keeps unfolding. And
well, is it like a fly on the wall? What kind of documentary is it? Like what mode?
It's reflexive.
Okay.
It starts out kind of like a regular. This is a famous guy, and this is what his life was like, and here he is today, and this is what he does today. And then it gets weirder and weirder.
Okay.
And things start. It's like a Russian nesting doll of a movie. I'll say that.
Yeah. If you're looking for a documentary, you need to watch Little Dieter Needs to Fly.
That's Werner Herzog?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
No.
Okay. It's like, that's something that I can show my parents and they're super interested in it.
Okay.
Even like pretty much anybody would be interested in the story. And then also like Harlan County, USA, I think is.
Yeah, we watched that in class.
Okay.
In documentary class. We must have been, maybe we were in the same one. I don't know.
No, I had it like last semester.
Oh, okay.
I almost like failed that class.
Yeah, I did not like that. I didn't care for it.
Yeah.
I love documentaries, but the class itself, not.
Yeah, it was like just too much at the time or whatever. Too dry.
Yeah, it was probably the teachers.
Like one of the documentaries that we watched and like was
Grass?
Huh? No, what's the act of killing?
Yeah,
that was one of the documentaries that we watched, and the teacher was like talking about how it like was unethical just because it's so exploitive of like these crazy kind of terrible people or whatever.
It does
Like
manipulate their
something along the
trust, but they are bad people, so it's okay.
Yeah.
That's an amazing movie. I don't I don't care.
It's one of the best documentaries of all time.
Yeah.
Like basically without argument.
Yeah.
Like it's at this point, yeah.
See, we didn't watch that in our version of the class, but I had seen that before, and then I saw the sequel, Look of Silence.
Yeah.
At True False, and the guy from the director and the guy who the subject did a little Skype call.
Isn't Look of Silence like the flip-flopped version of the act of killing, basically? Like it's the perspective of like the victim.
Yeah. Because it's a guy whose family was killed.
Yeah.
In the I don't know what do you want, the Civil War, the civil like the era of fascism in that Indonesia.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Look of Silence is basically a guy whose family was killed during those troubles. And it's like present day. He is an optometrist, and he goes to the like personal homes of the killers and gives them eye exams. And it's just like this. It's way more subtle. It's way more poetic than.
I've like seen part of it. I've seen part of it. And it was definitely like, it wasn't as energetic or whatever, or just like crazy. Yeah.
Not as immediate.
Yeah.
But still pretty brutal and haunting.
Yeah, for sure.
Another one I watched was 3 Identical Strangers. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, that's just wild.
Yeah.
That's like something that whole documentary and that story, I don't want to spoil it for listeners / viewers, but like that starts as like identical. One thing. They were certainly identical. I mean, like they cut to the chase as far as like what the big thing is, but as it unravels and you learn more, like you're like, whoa, this is about something totally different. And that was a fun one.
Like it almost seemed like it was going in like almost a kitschy kind of novelty direction, like towards the beginning. Yeah, like it's just about people who like were triplets that found each other.
Yeah.
Just a story, but then it like becomes so much more.
Like,
as it unwinds.
That's how it's pitched. It's like, here's these 3 guys. They're triplets, and they never met until one day. These 2 guys just bumped into each other. I guess they didn't like actually meet. Properly.
So it was like one of them went to college, and
everybody thought
like
he was the
somebody
other guy.
There. Like one of the brothers had been to that school or something like that, and they thought it was him.
Yeah. And you're like, whoa, this is crazy. Triplets never met. Weird. This is not like the big twist, but like the fact that they become like celebrities and people like want to hang out with them just because they're triplets is really
and they're
strange.
on the Tonight Show and stuff like that.
Yeah, that is weird. That is weird. That one's also on Hulu. Hulu's honestly killing it on the documentary game.
Yeah. Hulu, I feel like can get the gems, but they have like barely any movies. I feel.
Yeah,
they don't have enough movies, but they have like gems.
I think they're putting their eggs into like live TV and prestige premium television stuff, like their HBO, the HBO Showtime connections. Last documentary to mention, a long time ago, I had mentioned the Boys State documentary on this podcast, and I talked about it a long time. That's out now. I've
been seeing commercials for it.
Yeah,
like on TV, which is pretty cool.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's out. That's on Apple TV Plus.
Can you watch it anywhere else? Like, can you rent it? Like, buy to rent? Okay.
Which is like
great.
Why did they do that? Because they want people to get Apple TV Plus, apparently. I guess if
you have an Android, sorry.
Boy State documentary is out. That's like my favorite movie of the year because it's so personal for me. There's an older podcast where I talked about it at length. I don't remember which one, but I'll list it in the video.
Yeah.
And the last movie I wanted to talk about, speaking of auteur directors earlier, Quentin Tarantino. He has a movie called The Hateful Eightful.
Oh, have you seen that now?
I just saw it for the first time. It's the only one of his movies that I hadn't seen. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say like kind of middle, I guess. Somewhere around there.
It's like, it's entertaining, but it's so like, okay, so I think Tarantino's worst quality is his like super verbose, obnoxious dialogue.
Yeah.
Super indulgent, like stylistic choices and stuff. And it's like that movie just foregrounds that stuff. Like it's a play.
Yeah.
Like it's a play. So it's kind of anti-cinematic, and he's best at being cinematic. So it's like, I don't know, maybe that was his challenge. Maybe he wanted to do something different on purpose. But yeah.
That was a movie that I originally saw like super sleep deprived with friends, like in a cheap movie theater.
Yeah.
And, like I was about to fall asleep like the first half, and then for some reason there was something that happened that like got me to watch the rest of the movie or whatever.
Yeah, you know, it's
been a while since I've seen it.
It is pretty engaging. Like it's paced well enough, but it's the same kind of scenes over and over. It's like people being like, fuck you, you're gonna trying to kill me because of this reason. And then somebody's like, no, fuck you, because I'm trying to kill that person. And I'm just like, this is like Clue. It's like Clue, but with fuck. They say it's Clue, but they say fuck. I don't know why everything's coming across so middling to me lately. So yeah.
I feel like I've just seen like so much of it at this point.
Of just movies.
Yeah. Like, I feel like I've seen a lot of like, I feel like I've seen a lot of it.
I've just seen a lot of shit.
Yeah. It's just like you see what's repeating over and over, I guess, is where I'm getting at.
Yeah. And the things that you like that you've sought out, you've seen them all. So you're just kind of going to stuff that you're like, maybe this is worth my time. And then you just end up seeing a lot of bullshit.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm always trying to carve out more of the like classic stuff. But since during quarantine, I completed the AFI 100, and I knocked out a pretty significant amount of Sight and Sounds 250 and the Letterbox 250, with the only exceptions being like the really long, inaccessible, difficult
Sat
stuff.
and Tango, now on Criterion Channel.
I know. Sat and Tango.
I can't believe I watched that in almost one sitting. I fell asleep like in the last hour.
If it was like, this is the most fun, awesome, hilarious movie, and it's 7 hours, I'd be like, okay. But no, it has to be this is the slowest, driest, most miserable movie, and it's 7 hours.
That's literally what the movie is.
It's just like,
there's like a 7-minute long shot of being pulled by a horse-drawn carriage.
Great.
Yeah.
I feel like we've talked about Shot and Tango in the past.
I think so.
Just
I don't know if it was virtually or in person though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's. But
I do want to see like another movie by Bellatar that's not just a 7-hour long movie. Like I'm gonna have to assume the 2.5-hour movie is gonna be totally different.
Werkmeister Harmonies.
Yeah.
That one is the one that people seem to regard just as highly, but it's only 2 hours instead of 7. So
yeah, for sure.
But all these movies,
I think there's like the Something Horse is another one.
Oh, the Turin Horse.
Turin Horse, yeah.
I haven't seen any of these, but I know their names.
Yeah.
Therefore, I'm an accomplished film expert, and as such, there is only one movie that you need to watch, and that's called Darkness on the Edge of Town, which is again on Amazon Prime. And
YouTube. And the space. Meeting people.
And Meeting People is a masterpiece. And anybody who thinks otherwise can fuck off.
Yeah. You're talking to an auteur.
Yeah. Yes. And posters. And there are all the posters for those films on the merch store. The Darkness on the Edge.
Shirts. There's like shirts. A shirt for darkness at least.
There is.
I got a
shirt.
I got a pink and blue Triplefour Films sweatshirt that I'm excited to have.
I'm curious how it turns out.
It looks really good, honestly. Like, it's like a darker pink, and then like it contrasts well with the blue or whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of a royal blue, kind of I did my test samples, test prints that I did were the t-shirts and the stickers, but I have the Skeleton Man hoodie coming. Get those Enron Hubbard designs, guys. I know. Yeah, come on. Anyway, it's 4:44 p.m. What a better time to wrap up. The moral of the story is
buy our merch.
Yeah, buy our merch. SkeletonKey merch coming soon. Are you gonna put it out as soon as you can, or just?
Yeah, I'll probably try to do it as soon as I can, or whatever.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, buy our merch. This has been the Triplefour Podcast.